In this video, we'll show you how to use Claude AI step by step, broken down into small, easy to understand pieces. So what's Claude? In a nutshell, Claude is your work and thinking partner. For example, need to write an email or letter? Done. Have to research topics? That's a breeze. Or maybe analyze data on a spreadsheet? Yep. Want to break down a complex topic with no fluff? Easy. Do you have to create a presentation and have no design skills? Claude to the rescue. This goes all the way up to having Claude write programming code for you. Sure, this may seem intimidating, but once you see things in action, you realize it's very simple because Claude does all the heavy lifting for you. You just need to tell it what you need. We'll start off with some simple tasks like writing, then make our way into other features in Claude like artifacts, projects, skills, connectors, add-ins, and by the end, you'll have a very strong understanding of how you can work with Claude. To get started, head over to Claude AI and sign up. It's completely free to get started with. After you sign in, you'll be brought to this main section. This is where you can type in your questions, requests, or tell Claude what you want to do. You type, it responds. On the left side, there's a sidebar where you can see two things. This upper portion is where you can start a new chat or get to some of Claude's other features that we'll see later. And down here are your past conversations that have been saved. You can always click on one if you want to open it to work on it again. Let's start off with something simple and say we want to write a thank you letter to a friend who bought you a nice gift. Let's type in what we want and click the Submit button. Now, Claude may ask you to provide some specifics that you can either answer or skip. And just like that, Claude wrote you a very nice letter in mere moments. At this point, you can copy and paste it if you're happy with the results. You can even make direct edits by selecting the text and typing. Or ask Claude to make some refinements. For example, we can type in instructions like this. This letter is a little too gushy and over the top. Tone it down a bit. Let's submit that and see what Claude gives us. Okay, not bad. At this point, we can keep asking Claude to make changes, essentially having a conversation with Claude about the subject at hand, but let's move on. For our next example, let's start a new chat and go one step further by asking Claude to write a proposal for a local coffee shop. Now, in real life, you'll want to give Claude as much detail as possible. You can do that by writing a very detailed prompt. You can also click on this plus sign to upload any relevant files, documents, or spreadsheets. So the name of the game is to give Claude as much detail as you can to get the best results. For today, let's keep it simple and go with a prompt like this. Write a business proposal for a local coffee shop. A few moments later, here is the proposal. Now, if we're satisfied with the results, we can download it. But let's be honest, most likely we'll want to make some changes. And up to this point, your conversations with Claude have been through an exchange of prompts. Which brings us to our next feature in Claude, artifacts. Okay, just so you understand, in the world of AI, the term artifact gets tossed around a lot and the meaning can be a bit fuzzy. So to make it easy, an artifact is a broad-based term that refers to the output AI creates. For example, a document, spreadsheet, file, or image. Now, specifically focusing on Claude, an artifact is a live output that you can edit, an image that gets rendered, or coding you can edit. Best understood when you see it in action. On the left-hand side, look for the artifacts icon and click on it. Then click New Artifact. Claude will give us a few categories to choose from. For today, let's go with our previous example of writing a proposal for a local coffee shop. So we'll choose Documents and Templates. Then give Claude our prompt. Claude may ask you some additional questions. You can answer them or skip them. And in a few moments, Claude has created the proposal. Now, here's where working with artifacts gets interesting. Previously, if we wanted to work on it, we had to write a new prompt and recreate the whole document, and we can still do that. But with artifacts, you can select just a portion and have Claude make that specific change. For example, let's say you want the summary section to be a bit shorter and change the name of the company. Start by selecting the area you want to work on. A small box will pop up asking you to improve or explain. If we click Improve, we can type in our changes, and Claude will do it for us. And that's the big benefit of working with artifacts. You can open it, edit it, and preview it in real time. Going back to the artifacts area, as a side note, artifacts may appear in this section automatically whenever Claude creates them, so just be aware that may occur. Now, as you start to use Claude more, you may have multiple conversations around a particular subject and even build multiple artifacts around that same subject. This is where everything gets hard to keep track of and where projects enter the picture. Think of a project as a special folder within Claude that lets you store related topics. For example, we spent a lot of time asking Claude to write proposals and create some artifacts all about them as well. So how about we store everything together? On the left side, click Projects, then New Project. Let's go ahead and give our project a name and create it. You'll be brought to this project screen. In this area, you can add chats, artifacts, and files. For example, because we've had a lot of separate conversations about the coffee shop, it makes sense to keep track of everything. To add an item to your project, you can hover over it, click it, and choose Add to Project. In the prompt box, just place the chat in the appropriate project. From this point, we can rinse and repeat and add chats as needed. Likewise, you can add artifacts to your projects by going to the Artifacts area, opening one, and in the upper left corner, click the drop-down and choose Add to Projects. Now that we've added in all of our files, here is where you can really start to leverage the power of projects. When you open a project and type in a prompt, Claude will reference all the conversations, files, and artifacts within that project to create its response. Moving on, Claude is much more than just a conversational assistant. Starting with connectors. Connectors like Claude pull data from the tools and apps you use. Starting from a new chat, click the plus sign and choose Connectors. You'll be brought to a list of the apps you can connect, like Gmail, Microsoft, Notion, Slack, Figma, even your Shopify store. Basically, you install a connector and Claude can reach into those tools and work with the information that actually lives in your workflows. Next up, skills. Skills are sets of instructions. The benefit in using skills is you can create a skill for a task that you do repeatedly. For example, summarizing a meeting or editing a newsletter. The main idea behind skills are you set the instructions once, name it, and activate the skill whenever you need it. Using skills is what makes Claude feel less like an AI conversational tool and more like a system. Next up, add-ins. Over on the sidebar in the lower left-hand side, if you click the arrow that looks like a download icon, you'll go to a page where you can install add-ins for Microsoft products like Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. After the add-in has been installed, you can then ask Claude to do the heavy tasks, like analyze a spreadsheet and build a dashboard with charts and KPIs. PowerPoint works the same way. Your instructions go in, detailed slides come out. Speaking of design, Claude does have its own design capabilities, called, quite predictably, Design. With Claude Design, you can create full presentations, web pages, and even app interfaces just through telling Claude what you want. There's a full video below you can watch that explains how Claude Design works. The next big box office draw is Claude Co-work. Up to this point, you're still in the driver's seat by telling Claude what you want to do, and Claude goes to work. You ask, Claude answers, you take the output. Co-work is different. With Co-work, you give Claude access to a folder, tell it what you want to do, and Claude plans, executes, and delivers the finished work autonomously. Co-work is built into the Claude desktop app and only available through paid plans. If you use Co-work, you can go one step further and use Claude for Small Business, which is a plugin for Claude Co-work. This plugin lets you connect to apps like QuickBooks, PayPal, DocuSign, Google Workspace, and Microsoft 365. It can handle tasks like payroll planning, chasing overdue invoices, month-end sales reports, running marketing campaigns, and onboarding new employees. Next up is Claude Code. So if you're not a developer, you can get Claude to write the code for you. However, if you are a developer, you can build, debug, or point to your code base. But that's where things can get pretty deep. So let's start to wrap up. And there's how to use Claude if you're a complete beginner. Love to know your thoughts about Claude. Feel free to comment below. Also, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And now, here's another video for you.